My name is Austin Bartold. I'm the nutritionist at the Division of Indian Work on Lake Street and 10th. And today we're going to make walleye cakes and then a chilled wild rice salad with the orange honey cilantro vinaigrette. So what we have here is we have walleye that came from Red Lake, and these are 6 to 8 ounce fillets here. I'm going to take the skin off of here, and then we're going to take out what's called the Y bone. There's little bones in here, and we pull these out by simply just taking that out. And this is why we call it the Y bone. So we have some spices here. There's curry, ginger, kosher salt, and fresh cracked black pepper. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna season both sides of the walleye here. And the reason why I use curry and ginger is ginger is very good for your joints, and curry is very good for when you're nauseated. And then you'll rub, and you want it to where it's that orange color. Walleye is a white fish. It has a not super bland flavor, but you do need to season it a bit to get the flavor out. And of course, salt helps out as well. And then some fresh pepper. All right, so we're gonna do the other side here. One of the reasons why I decided to start my career in the culinary arts field is growing up on the reservation, my relatives had suffered from diabetes. I had to learn how to cook at a young age and help my grandma create meals because of her diabetes. And so that's what really inspired me to go to college, go to Le Cordon Bleu. I was the first Native American to graduate from the school. The whole Chunk and Winnebago family brought me to the Department of Indian Work in St. Paul. And there they were doing a diabetes class. And they asked me to cook for the community. And that's what really inspired me. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna add some clarified butter. I like to use cast iron. I grew up using only cast iron on the reservation. And actually to this day, only at home, I only use cast iron. And so you want your pan hot, and you wanna hear that sizzle. And you wanna put the flesh side down. You always wanna hear that sizzle. And our walleye only takes about 4 or 5 minutes. And what we're gonna do is we're just going to flip the walleye over. You see a nice little golden brown. And at this moment, you can just turn off the heat, and then you can let it cool. So here, I have wild rice that comes from the Fond du Lac reservation. There's different types of wild rice. We have river rice and lake rice. This one's here we'll use to go in soups. And then the nicer stuff we'll use in, like, if it's like a main dish, so it looks nicer on a plate. We're gonna wash the rice. And what you wanna do with the wild rice here, slowly pour that water out. And so you just wanna do it until it's almost clear. You want to cook it just like you do a basic white rice, 2 parts water, 1 part rice. And it only takes 7 to 8 minutes once it comes to the boil. Season the water, and so we're going to let that cook. While the wild rice is cooking here, what we're going to do is we're going to get all the ingredients ready for the walleye cakes. So here what we have is just garlic, and so we're just going to smash it there, and then we're gonna just do a quick mince. And we're gonna set that to the side here. We're gonna grab an onion here. We're gonna go this way, here. This bell pepper here was actually just picked yesterday from the St. Luke's Presbyterian Church. What we're gonna do is we're going to just do what's called a julienne. And then we're gonna do what's called a brunoise. And now this apple actually also came from St. Luke's Presbyterian Church. Just do a julienne, then the brunoise. So we got celery here, get everything about the same size there. I've been working with St. Luke's almost about 6 months now. They grow herbs and vegetables. They'll bring them to me every week. And what I do is I cook for the kids program, the women's birthing program, domestic violence groups, and everything is from farm to table. We have some fresh rosemary just picked. We're just gonna mince this up. And you don't wanna go too far when you do herbs. But once you see your cutting board kind of change color, that is what's called the oils. You wanna stop, because then you start losing the flavor. We're gonna take some clarified butter, and we're going to start with the onions and garlic. And that's the sound you always wanna hear when you're sauteing. We're going to add just a little bit of water to the onions here. And what's going to happen is I'm going to pull the natural sugars on the bottom of the pan, and you can see it's going to change color. And this is the caramelization part. We're going to get our celery, the peppers, then we're going to add the herbs. All right, now we're going to add our apples here. And basically we just want to heat the apples up. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. We're going to add it to a bowl now. And now the walleye that we did earlier, I had put in the cooler to chill it so it gets it nice and firm. We're going to just take this and mash it up in here. And just get your hands in there. Oh, you can smell the ginger and the curry in here. And we're going to take an egg and just crack it in there. And then we're going to take some mayonnaise. We want just a little bit in there. And then some breadcrumbs. But today we're going to use just panko. And maybe about a half a cup. And then we're just going to just fold it in. And so you can see it'll form a ball now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an ice cream scoop and then form balls, then patting them out about that size. So what we're going to do now, we got the wild rice cooling here. And so what we're going to do is we're going to make a honey cilantro orange vinaigrette. One of the things that we're going to do is we're going to caramelize some onions, just like we did with the walleye before. We're going to start with the kale here. And so we're going to slice it. We're going to put it in the wild rice. And then the vinaigrette, when it's done, will actually start wilting the kale. So a little kale in there. And then we're going to just shred the carrots right into the salad here. We're going to add the onions. And then we're going to add some dried cranberries. We're going to just mix the wild rice and all the ingredients together. And then we're going to set this aside, let it marinate, and then we're going to start the vinaigrette. So this cilantro also did come from the farm as well. Here, we're going to add the cilantro to this bowl here. We got some fresh oranges. All we're going to do is we're going to take a zester and just take the outside of the orange, and we're going to just chop it up. We're going to add that to the cilantro. And yes, of course, I am going to utilize the rest of the orange. We're going to add roughly about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, about a quarter cup of honey. This is a Dijon mustard. And then next, we're going to infuse the oil in here. All right, we're going to add some salt and pepper to this to give it some flavor. We're going to take our vinaigrette. We're going to add it into a wild rice salad here. Then we're just going to toss this. And as it sits, the wild rice will actually pull in that vinaigrette. And so it'll tighten up a little bit more. And so that is going to be the final wild rice salad there. What I have here today is some artifacts that either were passed down to me from my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, and stuff that my mom even made and I have made. This is a dream catcher I'm making, and I'm still working on it. And then we have cedar right here. We put them up on windows and the doorways, and then we make tea out of this. I have a drum. This is made out of buffalo hide. This is just for practicing. So I'll bring it into a group and let kids practice on here and learn songs. So next we're gonna make a pineapple relish. We're gonna take these pineapple chunks here. We're just gonna add it to the bowl. This was a pepper from making the walleye cakes earlier. And next we're going to use an apple. We're just gonna take a little bit of cilantro. We're just gonna add a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. And then here, we're just gonna take just a quarter of a teaspoon of vinegar, and then just a dash of oil. And then we'll go ahead and just mix this up. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're going to start forming our walleye cakes. A little bit of the clarified butter here. And then I have whole wheat flour in here. We're gonna form our cakes and then just dip it in the flour real quick. And this will give the walleye cake a nice little crust, a little sear. Put it in here real quick. Make sure you have a hot pan. We're just heating them up, if you will, and we want to get them past 165 degrees because if you remember, I had added a raw egg in here. It's usually about maybe 2 to 2.5 minutes on one side, and basically all you want to do is get a nice golden sear. And so when it gets that sear, then you can flip it over. Once you flip them over, it only takes maybe about 1.5 to 2 minutes at the most to get the other side nice and golden brown. So our walleye cakes are done. I'm going to turn the heat off, and then we're going to plate our wild rice dish here. Then we're going to take a couple walleyes and then maybe a little bit of our pineapple relish, and there you have it. All right, so here what we have is our chilled wild rice salad with the orange honey cilantro vinaigrette, our pan-seared walleye cakes, and our pineapple relish here. Cuisine.